Be honest, there's someone you still think about every night, right? Even after distance, even after silence, even after everything ended. But why can't your mind let them go? Is it love, attachment, or unfinished emotions? This video will explain the psychology behind it. Have you ever tried to forget someone, but the more you try, the more they come into your mind? You wake up and suddenly you remember them. You listen to a song and their face appears in your mind. You see a random message notification and for 1 second you hope it is from them. And then one question slowly starts hurting inside your heart. Why am I thinking about this person all the time, even when we don't talk anymore? And another deeper question, do they think about me too? Maybe you have not spoken for months. Maybe there was no goodbye. Maybe the connection ended suddenly. Or maybe the relationship never even started properly, but somehow their presence still lives inside your mind. Today, we are going to understand the real psychology behind this feeling. Not fake motivation, not movie-style fantasy, but the actual emotional and psychological reasons why one person stays in your mind for so long. And trust me, by the end of this video, you may understand your emotions in a completely different way. So sit back, relax, and listen carefully, because this video may explain a feeling you were never able to put into words. Reason 1. Psychology says something very interesting. The human brain does not like incomplete endings. When something ends properly, your mind slowly accepts it. But when something ends without closure, your brain keeps replaying it again and again. That is why unfinished conversations hurt more. Unsent messages hurt more. Almost relationships hurt more. Silent endings hurt more because your mind keeps asking, what if? What happened? What changed? Did they ever truly care? And these unanswered questions create emotional loops. Your brain becomes stuck between memories and imagination. That person may not even be in your life anymore, but emotionally, your mind still searches for completion. This is why people often think, I should have said this, I should have called one more time, maybe things could have been different. And slowly, the person becomes a permanent visitor inside your thoughts. Not because you're weak, not because you're crazy, but because your emotions never got a proper ending. Reason 2. Sometimes you miss the feeling, not the person. This part is painful, but very real. Sometimes the person staying in your mind is not actually the person, it is the feeling they gave you. Maybe they made you feel understood, maybe they made you feel special, maybe they listened to you during your worst days, maybe their presence gave peace to your heart, and now that they're gone, your mind keeps searching for that same emotional comfort. Humans are emotional creatures. We become attached to feelings. That is why certain places remind us of someone. Certain songs feel emotional. Certain dates suddenly make us silent. Your brain connects emotions with memories. So when you think about that person again and again, sometimes your heart is not calling the person. It is calling the emotional safety you felt with them. And honestly, this is why moving on becomes difficult, because you're not only losing a person, you're losing a version of yourself that existed with them. The happy version, the hopeful version, the emotionally alive version, and your mind keeps trying to bring that feeling back. Reason 3. Do you know what psychology says? Love and emotional attachment affect the brain almost like addiction. Yes, real emotional attachment changes brain chemistry. Whenever someone gives you attention, care, affection, or emotional connection, your brain releases chemicals like dopamine and oxytocin. These chemicals make you feel happy, connected, and emotionally safe. But when the person suddenly disappears, your brain feels the absence, just like someone missing a habit. That is why after emotional separation, people keep checking their phone, keep revisiting old chats, keep remembering old moments. Their brain is searching for emotional stimulation again, and this is where overthinking begins. You start imagining scenarios, you replay old conversations, you analyze every small detail. Why did they change? Did they lose feelings? Were they pretending? The mind becomes trapped, and the more emotional the connection was, the harder it becomes for the brain to let go. Reason 4. Do they think about you too? You too? Now comes the question everyone secretly wants answered. If I think about them all the time, do they think about me too? The honest psychological answer is maybe, but not always in the same way. People process emotions differently. Some people express pain openly, some hide it completely, some distract themselves, some stay busy, some avoid emotions because feeling deeply scares them. Just because someone is silent does not mean they forgot you, and just because someone posts happy photos does not mean they never miss you. Many people think about someone quietly, without messaging, without showing it, without admitting it. But psychology also says something important. Thinking about someone constantly does not automatically mean there's a magical spiritual connection. Sometimes it simply means your emotional memory is stronger, your attachment is deeper, and your mind hasn't emotionally detached yet. This truth may hurt, but it also helps you heal, because healing starts when you stop depending on another person's thoughts to validate your emotions. You don't need proof that they miss you to prove your feelings were real. What you felt mattered, even if the ending hurt. Ending 5. Emotional absence creates mental presence. Isn't it strange? Sometimes people become more present in our minds after they leave. Why? Because absence creates emotional intensity. When someone is always available, we often take their presence for granted. But when they disappear, suddenly every memory becomes valuable. Your brain starts romanticizing moments. You remember their smile, their voice, their small habits, the way they looked at you. Even ordinary moments suddenly feel special. This is why people after losing someone, memories feel stronger than reality. Your mind edits the pain and highlights the emotions. That is why people sometimes miss toxic relationships too. Not because the relationship was healthy, but because emotional attachment creates dependency, and the absence of familiar emotional companionship feels uncomfortable. The brain prefers familiar pain over unfamiliar loneliness. Read that again. The brain sometimes prefers familiar pain over unfamiliar loneliness. That's deep psychology.
Reason 6. Some people do not just become part of your life, they become part of your identity. Maybe you shared your dreams with them. Maybe they saw your vulnerable side. Maybe they knew things about you that nobody else knew. And when such people leave, your mind struggles to adjust because emotionally your brain connected them to your personal story. Suddenly, simple things feel empty. Places feel different. Songs feel different. Even your daily routine changes emotionally, and this creates emotional echoes. You may be physically away from them, but mentally they still exist inside your habits, memories, and emotional patterns. That is why random triggers bring them back instantly. One smell, one old photo, one message tone, one rainy evening, and suddenly everything returns. Reason 7. Now let's talk about something dangerous. Overthinking. When someone stays in your mind for too long, your imagination slowly becomes stronger than reality. You start creating stories in your head. Maybe they are waiting for me. Maybe destiny will bring us together. Maybe they are missing me every night. And sometimes none of this is actually true. This is why emotional attachment can become mentally exhausting, because the mind starts living inside imagined conversations instead of reality. Psychology calls this emotional projection. You project your emotions onto another person. If you miss them deeply, you assume they must miss you too. But human emotions are complicated. Two people can experience the same connection very differently. One person may heal quickly, the other may carry the memories for years. And that does not mean your feelings were fake. It simply means emotional processing is different for everyone. Reason 8. Sometimes you are actually missing yourself. This part may change your perspective completely. Sometimes the person you miss is actually a mirror of a version of yourself. Think carefully. Who were you when they were around? Maybe you smiled more. Maybe you cared more. Maybe you felt alive. Maybe you believed in love. Maybe life felt lighter. And now, after they are gone, you are not only missing them, you are missing the emotional version of yourself that existed during that time. That is why heartbreak changes people, not because love disappears, but because people lose emotional energy. And healing begins when you slowly rebuild yourself again, not for them, for yourself. Reason 9. Have you noticed something? People miss someone more at night. There is psychology behind this too. During the day, the brain stays distracted. Work, people, noise, social media, responsibilities. But at night, silence arrives, and silence forces emotions to speak. That is why old memories return at night. That is why people suddenly become emotional before sleeping. That is why loneliness feels louder in darkness. Your mind finally has space to process hidden emotions, and if someone still lives deeply inside your emotional memory, nighttime brings them back strongly. That late night overthinking, that urge to check old chats, that sudden emotional heaviness, it all has psychological reasons. You are not alone in this feeling. Millions of people silently fight emotional memories every night. Reason 10. The difference between love and attachment. This is one of the most important parts of the video. Sometimes people think they are in love, but actually they are emotionally attached. Love is peaceful. Attachment is fearful. Love gives freedom. Attachment creates anxiety. Love accepts reality. Attachment resists endings. When someone constantly stays in your mind, ask yourself honestly, do I truly love this person, or am I emotionally attached to the idea of them? Because attachment often comes from emotional dependency. You feel incomplete without their attention. You depend on their presence for emotional stability, and when they leave, your mind panics. But healthy love is different. Reason 12. Healing does not mean forgetting. A lot of people think healing means forgetting. No, healing means remembering without breaking. It means the memory exists, but it no longer controls your emotions. Right now, maybe one message from them can destroy your peace. One photo can ruin your whole day. One memory can make you emotional for hours. But slowly, healing changes this. The memories remain, but the emotional pain becomes softer. And one day you stop asking, why did they leave? And start asking, what is my life teaching me through this experience? That is emotional growth. Reason 13. The most painful truth. Now let's talk about the truth nobody likes hearing. Sometimes people stay in your mind simply because you never got the love you hoped for. Unfulfilled emotions stay longer. The almost relationships hurt deeply because imagination keeps extending the story. Your mind keeps thinking about what could have happened. And honestly, sometimes fantasy hurts more than reality because reality ends, but imagination has no ending. That is why emotionally unavailable people often become unforgettable. They give enough attention to create hope, but not enough consistency to create security, and your mind keeps chasing emotional answers. Reason 14. So how do you stop thinking about someone constantly? First, stop fighting the thought. The more you force yourself not to think about someone, the more your brain focuses on them. Instead, acknowledge the feeling. Yes, they mattered. Yes, the memories were real. Yes, the emotions affected you deeply. Accepting emotions heals faster than suppressing them. Second, stop romanticizing the pain. Do not turn sadness into identity. Some people stay emotionally stuck because they secretly hold on to the pain. They replay old songs, revisit old messages, check profiles repeatedly, and without realizing it, they keep reopening emotional wounds. Third, rebuild your emotional life. Create new memories, meet new people, focus on your goals, reconnect with yourself. Your mind cannot heal inside the same emotional environment forever.
And most importantly, understand this. Not everyone who enters your life is meant to stay forever. Some people come to teach lessons. Some come to awaken emotions. Some come to show you your own depth. And then they leave. Not every connection is meant to become permanent, but every connection changes you somehow. If someone is constantly in your mind right now, do not hate yourself for it. You are human. Human hearts remember emotional experiences deeply. But also remember this, your life cannot stop because of one person. You deserve peace too. You deserve emotional stability too. You deserve love that does not confuse your mind every night. And maybe the real purpose of this connection was not to make you suffer. Maybe it was to help you understand yourself more deeply, your emotional needs, your attachment patterns, your fears, your heart. Sometimes pain becomes the greatest teacher, and one day you may look back and realize the person who stayed in your mind for so long actually helped you discover parts of yourself you never understood before. So the next time someone suddenly appears in your thoughts, don't panic. Pause for a moment and ask yourself, am I missing the person or the feeling? Am I holding on to love or attachment? Am I searching for them or searching for emotional closure? Because the answers to these questions can completely change your emotional life. If this video touched your heart, if you connected with even one line, then don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who may silently be fighting these emotions too. And remember, some people leave your life, but the lessons they leave behind stay forever. See you in the next video.